Hello friends, welcome to Study IQ. Today we are going to have a very interesting discussion about Alexei Navalny. Now we're going to talk about who exactly is Alexei Navalny. Recently he has been in news predominantly after returning to Russia from Germany. In Germany he was treated. It is suggested that he was poisoned by the Russian authorities. On return to Russia he has been detained, and after his detainment there has been a lot of protest. Now, amidst all this protest, what has happened is one of the TV anchors from Russia has compared Alexei Navalny's return to Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, that is Lenin's return way back in 1917. That means, in short, Alexei Navalny has been compared to Lenin. So we're going to talk in this particular discussion why this happened, what is the development in Russia, although I'm quite sure that you can make out from this particular heading that Alexei Navalny is unlikely to be a catalyst of regime change in Russia. Nonetheless, his popularity has increased manifold in these couple of months. So we'll talk about all these developments, and at the end of the discussion, we'll talk about a comparison between Navalny and Lenin also. Let's begin our discussion. Before that, I am your friend Rahul Saigaonkar. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on the ID Rahul Sai 222. Study IQ has a smart course for you for UPSC 2021. For more information, download the app. Right. We'll first talk about the observation of the news that is happening in Russia. Now, if you look at Russia, Russian troubles in 2020 were many. The pandemic was a huge problem in Russia. Economic downturn is a problem. Russia controversially arrested a regional governor, which led to protests there. Apart from that, the developments in Belarus, Kyrgyzstan, Moldova, Nagorno-Karabakh, almost everywhere they have had problems in terms of, I would say, diplomacy. So 2020 has been a year of troubles for Russia, and 2021 has also begun with trouble. Why? Because anti-Putin activist Alexei Navalny returned in January 2021. He was immediately arrested on landing in Russia, which led to massive protests in many cities in Russia, predominantly against the ruling government. So let's try to understand why exactly this happened. But before that, we will talk about Putin Raj, so that you understand from how long Alexei Navalny has been a critique of Vladimir Putin, the current president of Russia. Now, Vladimir Putin has already served 3 terms as president, and this is his 4th term. Now, he has been serving as a president from 2000 to, I would say, 2021 consecutively, barring one particular term in between here from 2008 to 2012. Now, during this term also, he was the second premier. That means he was the prime minister in Russia. His political dominance was still there. Now, if I have to tell you from how long Putin has been leading, in short, I would say from 1999, after Boris Yeltsin was removed as president. 1999, Putin was controlling the caretaker government, and from that time itself, I would say till 2021 and perhaps till 2024, he will be leading for sure, right? Barring a 4-year period where Dmitry Medvedev was the president from 2008 to 2012. Although at that time also he had a lot of dominance. Now, right from this time, Alexei Navalny has been a critique of Vladimir Putin. What has happened in recent times has become very important for us. Let's try to understand what happened recently. In August 2020, Navalny was traveling to Moscow, Russia, and he fell ill on the flight itself. The flight had to take an emergency landing. It landed in Omsk in Russia, where he was initially hospitalized. While he was getting treatment, his wife requested that he should not be treated in Russia because there might be some sort of foul play there. She requested that he be taken to Europe, predominantly in Germany, where he should be treated. So he was transferred to Germany, he was given treatment, and suddenly he recovered. The German authorities highlighted that Alexei Navalny was poisoned. He was given a nerve poison. Alexei Navalny, after recovering, he accused Vladimir Putin of being responsible for the poisoning with nerve agent. And after investigation, the European countries, the European Union, United Kingdom, they imposed sanctions on many Russian officials for this particular act, right? Now, what happened in recent times? In January 2021, to be precise, on 17 January 2021, Alexei Navalny returned to Russia. And after his return, when he landed, he was immediately arrested again. He was arrested in an old case in which he received a suspended sentence, and in a new case where he has been accused of fraudulent use of public money. Now, as soon as he was detained in Russia, there was massive protest all over Russia. It led to widespread protest asking for Alexei Navalny's release. There was protest in almost all major countries, right from the eastern edge to the western edge, that is right from the Pacific coast to the Baltic Sea. There were protests. Thousands of protesters were arrested. You can see here Russia arrested 4,000 Navalny supporters, although they were arrested and released later on. But this has brought complete attention on Alexei Navalny. So let's talk about Navalny and let's talk about the recent development that have taken place here. Now, if I have to discuss about Alexei Navalny, he has been a Russian opposition leader right from, I would say, 2000s. He has been predominantly an anti-corruption activist. We'll talk about this in some time. But all of a sudden, he has risen to international prominence because of the poisoning in recent times. But in the last couple of years, I would say in 2018 elections, Alexei Navalny did announce that he's going to run against Vladimir Putin. He has highlighted many scandals against the incumbent government. He has even accused Vladimir Putin, the Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev, of corruption. He has been an anti-corruption activist for sure. Right? Now let's look at his story, because he is being compared to Lenin, but we need to understand that he has mostly remained a fringe political actor. That means he has always remained on the corner, but he has been an activist towards anti-corruption for sure. His influence has been mostly in Moscow, in and around Moscow. Although Navalny started his political career way back in 2000 itself as a leader of opposition. He joined the opposition party Yabloko way back in 2000. Later on, he fell out with Yabloko and he co-founded a movement called as The People. So he has been mostly an activist rather than a politician, I would say. Although he did try his hand at politics. In 2013, Navalny contested Moscow's mayoral elections against Sergei Sobyanin. Sergei Sobyanin is a loyalist of Vladimir Putin. He lost the elections. But this was one of his intentions to contest the elections, although he lost. In 2016, Navalny announced that he is going to contest for the presidential elections against Vladimir Putin. And in 2018, Navalny refounded a party known as Russia of the Future Party, although this party has not been registered by Russia's Ministry of Justice. Again, in 2018, when the election was there, the Electoral Office or the Election Commission of Russia, they debarred Navalny from contesting elections against Vladimir Putin. So politically, he has remained fringe, but more or less, he has remained a very, very important anti-corruption activist. Now, if you look at his anti-corruption activism, it has been very, very important. His popularity is very immense. He has been very active since 2009 on the social media. You can look at his Twitter handle where he has 2.5 million followers. And his YouTube channel has 6.36 million subscribers. I'm repeating, his YouTube channel has 6.36 million subscribers. This clearly shows he is quite popular in Russia, but again, mostly as an anti-corruption activist. Again, from this particular observation, from this Twitter and from this YouTube, we are going to look at some shrewd observation at the end. So keep this pointer in mind. Right. As an anti-corruption activist, you can see that Navalny in 2010, he started financial activism. What he did was he invested a lot of money in 5 oil and gas companies in Russia. And if you look at oil and gas companies, all of these companies are controlled by the government, isn't it? So he started investing in them and he became an activist shareholder where he asked for companies' financial details. In 2010 itself, Navalny published confidential documents about Transneft's auditing, where he accused a corruption of about $4 billion. The very next year, Alexei Navalny again released papers where he highlighted that there was a scandalous deal between the Hungarian government and Russian government where billions of dollars worth of embezzlement was possible. In the very next year, in 2012, Alexei Navalny accused the Deputy Prime Minister Igor Shuvvalov, the then Deputy Prime Minister Igor Shuvvalov, of corruption. In fact, if you look at his corruption charges, very, very prominent charges have been against the Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev and President Vladimir Putin. Now, in 2017, Navalny published an investigation which was named "He is not Demon to You." where he accused Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev of corruption. And on January 19, 2021, exactly 2 days after his arrest, another important publication came out. Its name was A Palace for Putin, a story of the biggest bribe in the entire world. Now here he has accused the incumbent president Vladimir Putin of using fraudulent means to obtain a huge estate for himself. Now the charges are yet to be proved, but this clearly shows that he has been an anti-corruption activist to a large extent, isn't it? But what happened recently, why he rose to so much of prominence, is because of one particular incident. In 2021, after his arrest, a pro-government TV anchor, Dmitry Kiselyov, what Kiselyov did was he compared Alexei Navalny's return from Germany to Russia to what exactly happened in 1917. Now again, if I'm not wrong, 1917 has been a watershed year in the history of Russia, I would say in the world history itself. On April 16, 1917, Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, he returned from exile. Although he was exiled multiple times, he was exiled during the 1905, the revolution also. He was exiled to Siberia. The Tsar again exiled him. Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov is none other than Lenin. So Lenin also returned from exile, where he spearheaded the Russian Revolution, right? What do we say? The October Revolution, right? A very landmark development. Now, Dmitry Kiselyov compared Navalny to Lenin. Just like Lenin had returned, he led a revolution. There is a hope that Navalny has returned, he would lead a revolution. Now, the question mark is still there. Is Navalny even close to Vladimir Lenin? The answer would be clearly no. Because, see, as we discussed, Navalny has not been a main political actor. He has been a fringe political actor, but he has predominantly been an anti-corruption activist, right? His popularity was there, although before I would say January 2021, his popularity was there primarily in youth, because we discussed his online presence is very huge. He's been very active on Twitter and on YouTube and on other social media platforms. So youth followed him a lot. But there was a very strange thing that happened, because of which probably Kiselyov said that Alexei Navalny's return is very similar to Lenin. Why? Because in January 2021, the support base of Alexei Navalny suddenly expanded. It was primarily youth before, but now many people from different strata, different age group have supported that Alexei Navalny be released. What is the reason behind this? Is it a phenomena where all of a sudden an activist becomes popular, where earlier youth were supporting him, all of a sudden different people from different strata, different age groups support him, right? That is something very drastic. And the reason behind this perhaps is the problems of 2020 and what happened before. Right from the annexation of Crimea, the problems with Ukraine, Russia has been going through an economic downturn. And because of this economic downturn, there has been the loss in the quality of life in Russia. Perhaps people are now frustrated with this. Right from 2014 till 2020, already there was an economic downturn, low prices of oil, economic problems in Russia, and add to it the 2020 year, that is the pandemic year. Again, further problems. So what probably is happening is there is a deep disillusionment among the people with respect to the current government. And right now, it may be a reason that people are supporting so much to this protest is because of this particular disillusionment. Another reason might be that people might be shooting off Navalny's shoulders, meaning that there might be other political opponents who do not want to come into forefront, and probably they're using Alexei Navalny's arrest as a means to spark these protests. But nonetheless, this is going to be really interesting. Many experts do say that Navalny and the protest surrounding Navalny may not lead to regime change, but it has surely raised a huge question mark over the legitimacy of Vladimir Putin and his government and the handling of the economy of Russia right from, I would say, 2015 and in the pandemic also. So it's going to be really interesting what's going to happen in Russia. It has a bearing on our foreign policy also. Although I would say India wouldn't like that there should be a regime change, because Vladimir Putin and India's relations have been very cordial. But nonetheless, if there is a regime change or if there is a political upheaval in Russia, it is going to impact us also. So stay tuned for any update on this. We will bring it to you as soon as possible on Study IQ. That's it from my side on this part of discussion. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.